Paul in Woodinville, Washington. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind today?
So, Tom, not too long ago, you told me that civil wars start when the vacuum of government. And I'm asking you, is not the lack of trust to the degree that we are seeing now in government the beginning of the sucking sound of the vacuum? Aren't we in a cold civil war right now?
We are. We absolutely are, Paul.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to turn into a hot civil war because government can still stop these things. But as long as the official armed arm of our government, the police departments, stand by and watch as black churches are vandalized and their signage is burned in the streets and people are attacked, physically attacked while police stand by and watch, that's very troubling and very concerning.
Well, Tom, armed insurgents have plotted against the governor of Michigan and the Secretary of State of Michigan.
I know, but they're in prison
insurgency.
right now. Right.
Yeah, they plotted to kidnap the governor.
If this was a country that was on the verge of civil war, those people would not be in jail right now.
Well,
that's the point.
So my point is this, Tom. Democrats are going to have to take a Promethean approach to this problem. This is a festering boil that needs to be brought to a head before it can be lanced and have the disgusting pus squeezed out of it, which is the Republican Party. And here's what I'm disappointed in. What really makes me upset is that, my idea for repealing the federal income tax, when I suggested this to both Mark Pocan and Congressman Khanna, they both had the exact same reaction. The exact same reaction was they're worried about how this will affect poor people in red states. That's what they're worried about. And you know what, Tom? I don't care about them because they have chosen the government that they have in those states. And as Louis Brandeis once said in the case in 1932, let the states be the crucibles of democracy, the test tubes of democracy. And if we want to have progressive ideas to have some chance of being started, let them happen in the blue states, keeping the money in the blue states. And you know what? Because as I said to Rokana the other day, was all the Republicans want the federal government for is to collect those taxes so that they can turn it over to private hands. And that's what Medicare Advantage is. That's what the charter schools are. They use the arm of government to collect the taxes so that they can shuffle it off into private hands. That's the way they do it. Well, I'm for keeping our tax dollars where they are so that we will take care, the blue states will take care of their poor. If the red states want to be S-hole states, then let them. And there should not be taker states and maker states. And under my plan, there wouldn't be. And we would also not have a bloated federal budget that had $1 trillion a year military because people would start thinking, I really got to pay those taxes. It's not going to be somebody else. I have to pay them. And that's what Democrats, like I said, a Promethean approach, which is daringly and rebelliously creative in addressing this problem.
Paul, as you know, I think that your idea is brilliant. I don't know how practical is not the right word, but you know what I mean. I don't know what the probabilities of it ever being made into law are, but I think it's brilliant.
I know.
And I encourage you to write it up and try to get it published someplace. Submit it to the New York Times as an op-ed. Keep it under 800 words.